All right, so we are talking about the film, the documentary, The Old Men of the Mountain. I'd like to introduce the stars and the director/editor. So if you go around the room, Vinnie, you can start.
My name is Vinnie, a.k.a. Vincent Fraoili.
I'm Amelia Lombard. I'm producing and editing the documentary.
I'm Steve Rodio. I'm definitely not one of the old men, but I was on the mountain.
There's got to be more than just you guys climbing Mount Washington. There's got to be, like, something with it. Like,
This was an elaborate scheme to get us out of our houses. Because what Frank did, he had a couple of his cronies break into our houses and shoot things that we don't know if they are yet. So it's going to come like, my insulin is going to be gone, or my cat is gone. Something's going to happen. So that's why it was an elaborate.
And he told us that our things were scattered on the mountain, so we had no choice.
That was
really.
the second
it's
part.
like a scavenger hunt.
That was the second part.
So it's a scavenger hunt up Mount Washington, but at least it was in the summer, right? It wasn't.
Well, you know the story about the guy, so the man who goes up the hill and comes down the mountain with, what's his name? Just like, his name, long face, handsome face, kind of look like you, except he's English.
You were?
Yes.
There you go.
Hugh Grant.
The man from
You
off
look
screen.
right. Hugh Grant.
I never realized
The
that.
man from off screen clued us in.
You know what's
Can I say something, though?
Yeah.
We did not walk up a hill. We walked up a goddamn mountain. A big
He
mountain.
lied to us.
All right?
Down a hill.
And then we got a ride down because there's no way I could have got
Yeah.
down. Yeah. It was a mountain.
But Frankie
It was a mountain. You got that, people?
Actually, Frankie played a trick on us once. There was a long pool, and he said, we were all going to swim underwater to the end of that pool. So we all jumped in and wanted to go. So what Frankie did was he ran around the pool as we were under, and then we dumped himself in at the end, and I went. And that's what Frank did to us at the mountain. He dumped us off.
Oh, and then drove to the top?
Yep, he drove to the top.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's so bad.
Well, part of the real story is, Frank said, well, there are three routes up the mountains. This is not the easiest, and it's not the most difficult. It's kind of like a road, he said. I'm thinking El Camino. It's a road, right? You know, the Camino.
Mm-hmm.
So we're walking along, and it's roady. It's walking through the woods, kind of an incline, etc. And then we come to this patch, like the beginning of a fairy tale. There's like a little opening going up the mountain, right? And like a clearing, there's a wall, and we go up a little bit, and it starts to get really steep. And Frank goes, well, I stopped here. It started to rain. So I can go up all. So he announces, but it's only going to be like this for like 1,500 yards. 1,500 yards. I'm trying to figure out 1,500 feet or something. So then we start walking up this incline, and now it's a real incline, and we're
This
climbing.
was 15 minutes into the 7-hour hike, by the way.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
great.
not a road anymore. It's a slide, a rock slide that you.
It's hand over hand shit.
It's just a hill.
Yeah.
It's a hill. You tip it this way, right? You got just tip the mountain a little bit to the right, and we're climbing and climbing. And then you get around the bend, that cool work that people play on one another. It's just around the bend,
Right.
and then there's more, and then this goes on and on.
More.
And then there's this, we're going to get to this magic cabin up, and we think it's all going to be over. It's called like Castle in the Sky or something like that. So we get there, and there's a level surface getting up to the cabin, and my legs are kind of acting weird. I've spent some time on ships before, and it's getting off is like really weird. It's just like, I can't walk on a kind of level space. It's like really. So then we're going to go up, and we leave, and we're going to go to the top, which is, you can see right there. And then there were these, like, Roman soldiers just drop these huge blocks all the way up. You just kind of have to climb, and it doesn't stop. And this guy almost fell.
That's where I had all the good Samaritans flocking around me saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?
Oh, man, that's never good.
Can I give you some nutrition?"
He had some hiking
Because you
poles,
look
but one
great.
of them broke.
Yes, Frank
Yeah,
did
it's
give me
great.
his hiking poles.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. But they weren't sturdy enough for my fat frame, unfortunately. Well, one of them was.
Editing the video, it's difficult to kind of put it in order because I don't have a time sequence of it, but I'm able to do it based on how exhausted you guys are and how many layers you have on. That's how I know what
Oh
goes
my
there.
God, right?
The cameraman, by the way,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
a third of my age, threw up. I did not throw up.
He's 21 years
I
old.
probably should. He's only 21?
Yeah.
He's more than a
22,
quarter of
maybe.
my age. I don't know. He's a young kid.
Yeah.
No, it was an experience because if it weren't for you were the barometer of how strenuous it was. Because it was. I mean, because he said he's been sitting behind his desk for the past 3 years, right? He's not running anymore. And it was scary. And I ran up at the last part. I tried to run up to stop the train because we were taking the train down. And we were warned they were leaving on the minute. And just like no pleading, nothing except maybe throwing yourself in front of the train. Like a foul. But and I didn't expect to see him. I was going to plead. A wounded veteran. Frankie's a very good storyteller. I mean, storytelling is an anagram for bullshitter, right? But so we have a wounded veteran here. Like he is a veteran.
Well, there you go. So
I am a
it's
veteran,
not-
and I was definitely wounded. Not in action, but I was wounded that day.
Hey, listen, you prepared well. You walked your dog around the block. You prepared.
That's what I tell everyone. That's how I got ready to climb Mount Washington. I took my dog around the block not once. I took him twice.
See, that's tough.
Such, but what is the overall through line of the film? Is it just, conquering the mountain? Is it seeing what you can do at a certain age? Is it?
It's kind of just men on the mountain of climbing. They go on adventures before too, so you see them like super happy getting, but also you see them struggling. I like to think of it as like this movie in a way kind of sums up life.
Okay.
Of how you are going out to dinner, you're having great conversations with people, but you also have your struggles and you have your high points, and that's what this movie has. And only what's a hike a struggle, but also like waking up in the morning. Like you guys were all groggy waking up in the morning. I'm like, that's tough. Everybody does that, and people don't always want to wake up in the morning, But you did it. You hiked that.
Well, Frankie is a good producer because he, in a way, doesn't tell you what's going on, which is very good because there were certain directors were like that. I'm not going to. Fellini was like that. I'm not going to tell you guys what's going on. I'm not going to tell anything and put you in this improvisatory script.
Sometimes that's better.
It's a lot better.
Yeah.
And the road thing is after the fact. This is not a road. And but I love your summation of that. Because it really was a road trip. Everything is a road trip. You think about that metaphorically. Frank and I were working on planning to go to Spain to the Camino de Santiago, which is a metaphor. And then we were geared not to go to Spain for the whole thing, but to do the walks here in Rhode Island or anywhere to make the road a road. This was Don Quixote and Sancho Panza was the coming up the mountain. And I didn't know about the old man until, like you just said, I really don't like that. And where I got to leave. First time anyone's ever called me old.
I like to call it your experience, your seasons.
Little angels walking up the mountain. These group of guys. One guy had a pot belly and he was funny, stout, good sense of humor. And he just kind of cheered us up on the way up. And seeing him just jump along the line.
With that big belly, he gave me hope.
If you can do it, anyone can.
Right.
And he was talking about his father. He said, my father inspired me. Because his father was up in his 70s, still hiking like that. We met some really nice people going up, and it was a great experience, and we got to know one another, better. And there was one point when Steve almost died.
It wasn't that nice of an experience, really.
Almost dying doesn't sound like it's...
Well, I mean, it was scary because I was up ahead of you. I was looking at rocks. If I was going to warn him, but I would be warning him every 3 seconds. And then, but Frank said you kind of slipped to the left, and it was an abyss down. So a precipice.
Sorry.
You guys really inspire me to not do this.
She'll jump out of a plane
Multiple times.
at 18. Oh yeah, jump out of a plane, film it, going down the way down. Sure, it's a lot easier, right?
Oh yeah, it is. It really
And less scary.
Yeah.
Okay. We weren't that tired afterwards, believe it or not.
Adrenaline?
Nope.
No?
Bottle of Chianti, fantastic.
That's what.
I mean, it's great. And
That's your motivation.
And you go to the next one. He was fine the next one. It was
Yeah,
good.
I didn't have any lingering effects, thankfully.
That's good.
So it was a good metaphor. It was, again, Frankie has given us, the two of us, some great experiences. I mean, some really fun places. Another film that he made.
Yeah, if there's any that you want to mention.
There was one, there was the girl who wore yellow lace. Lynn Lowry was an actress in that. And we were at this Stephen King-esque hotel lodge on the lake in
that seemingly had been abandoned for like 25 years before we arrived. But we got there on the lake, and it was kind of dusty and dark, and it was a perfect setting. And then all these crazy people came, and we ended up having a fantastic time. Well, bourbon played a role.
Bourbon and
That
wine.
made it fantastic.
Oh, it was good. It was very good. It was wonderful. We've done a lot of crazy things together.
And we got to meet Lynn Lowry,
Yeah.
the famous Lynn Lowry, who's a well-known horror movie actress for, 50 years now? 60 years. She was great. She was fantastic.
You've done crazy stuff, but now I gotta take you skydiving.
There's the next film.
Yeah,
That's like,
that's the
People
next
say that the biggest fear is public speaking.
Yeah.
Not death. Public speaking. No problem with me jumping out of a plane and ain't doing it.
Yep, honestly, I'm the same way. I was never a public speaker, and then I wrote books, and they were like, you got to do events. I'm like, oh,
Really?
man. So I now am more extroverted in that, but I wouldn't jump out of a plane.
No?
Because your presence is good. And
Yeah, that's how Frank found me. He looked up Cape Cod author. I mean, at least that's the story.
At least you came up.
So what's next? What's the next project? I mean, we're working on one in town, but for you guys, like, what's the next? Is there another adventure? Are you going to go skydiving, or is it?
I mean, I'm hoping to convince them, but it doesn't look likely. The next project for me, I'm finishing the Old Men of the Mountain, editing that, and then I'm graduating college in a couple months. So,
Nice.
yeah, I'm looking to, start my life.
Then what?
Oh, no.
I know, I'm putting you on the spot.
Get me on other projects, and then I'll have some.
All related to film?
Yeah, I'm graduating as a film major with a minor in communications.
The two of us always have these adventures. I mean, our height difference is very fun. And he always makes me fight, and he watches in a bar. But because they don't expect much from me, right? I both have to him. Just kidding.
On the muscle.
So the Men of the Mountain is a kind of a smaller segment version of this Camino de Santiago. And the Camino, Frankie called me last 2 years ago, and he's Vino on the Camino. Like this is a clue. Like it was like a voice. Vino on the Camino. What's Vino on the Camino? You're Vino, Vinnie, and I'm a Camino. So we're going to walk the Camino together in Spain. I said, oh, okay, so we're going to walk Spain. He said, so it has to be a metaphor. It's linear life, birth, death, So he wants the film to be about me. And I go, but I've had a very interesting life. And he goes, I said, I just can't do it about me. It's kind of narcissistic. How about I love my dinner with Andre. Two guys talking. And what you learn in a dialogue. This is what we do all the time. We do this all the time. So I said, how about my walk with Andre, subtitle my walk with walking and talking about life, about certain big events that are coming up, small events like life and death, living and dying, and all the other wonderful things. And I was going to go through a retrospective of my house and my life. And Frank said he comes to my studio because everything that you are is right here. These books, this using myself as or us using me as a subject, not as a subjective subject, I'm not kidding, but as objective. And then I started interviewing other people. We've done 12 interviews so far about other people, including with Steve, walking in the park at Roger Williams, walking. So this Camino, small Camino, is of going up the mountain is really part of that process. That's going to be fun because I think it's going to take us to Spain. It's going to take us through some roads and take us to some other good times. you jumping out of a plane,
Let's do it in
and me pointing up to the sky.
No, you got it reversed. You're jumping out of the plane.
She's gonna film you jumping out.
We'll both jump and I'll hold the camera.
I'll film from the ground. Yeah, that's not gonna be.
Have you ever jumped out of a plane?
Yeah, I've jumped out of a plane, and once was plenty.
Tell us a story about that. Do we have time for a story? About the picnic table?
Did you land on a picnic table jumping out of a plane?
All right. I don't think it's that interesting of a story, but I was with my then soon-to-be wife, now ex-wife.
Because she didn't make it.
And we drove to this very idyllic place in Connecticut, way out in the countryside. It was just gorgeous, rolling hills, and there was a little tiny airport. And we took the class. The deal was you take the class in the morning, and then you jump out of the plane in the afternoon, right? So we took the class in the morning, and the afternoon came, and it was too windy. We couldn't go. So we drive home an hour and a half, whatever it was. We go back the next day, too windy. When it's too windy, what you do is you get on the picnic table and you jump off the picnic table and you learn how to do your roll. Okay? So I jumped off that picnic table 400 or 500 times before we eventually got up into the sky. And we get up there, and of course I'm the heaviest. I'm usually the heaviest, and the heaviest goes first. So the command is, swing your legs out. And I swing my legs out, and then you grab the bars, and you stand up in the door of the plane. And the first thing I thought to myself was, this is nothing like the picnic table.
Where's the picnic table?
I thought I had this down, and I really don't. So that's it. You jump, you count to 8, which I didn't really do. I just figured I'd give it a little bit of time, and because you're on a cord, right?
You jump by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, I had somebody on my back.
Oh yeah, no, I jump by myself. But there's a cord on you, and the cord pulls the parachute. And if you get to number 9 or 10 and your parachute isn't pulled, then you know you have to pull your emergency chute. So I jumped, and luckily my chute opened.
Did your wife jump?
And my wife jumped after me and ended up in a cornfield and really got me worried. And ran over to see her, and she was a little bit bruised up, but she was fine.
And now she's your ex.
And now she's my ex.
Because of that. You made me land in the corner.
I'm going to have a fear of picnic tables. I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Well, yeah, basically the only reason I did it is shame. I mean, what are you going to do? I'm not going to crawl back in. So if I died, I'd rather die than be ashamed.
I'm not sure.
Don't be embarrassed.
Put a T-shirt.
I didn't jump. There. Old Men of the Mountain.
Yeah.
We will have the link in the description. Thank you, Vinnie, Amelia, Steve.
Bye, everyone.
Frank
Thank
off
you.
camera there,
Thank
trying
you.
to walk away.
Frank, thank you.
We're all good.